Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Vuslat Bayoglu, the MD of Menar, a private investment company with an actively managed and growing portfolio of mining assets, currently made up of anthracite, coal, gold, manganese, and nickel. Vuslat, it's great to chat to you once again. You know, the hand-in-glove position of bulk commodities and logistics has suffered considerable recent disruption in South Africa. What is your assessment of the logistical challenges that still confront us?
Thank you, Martin. Look, the starting point is that South Africa's economy is largely commodity-driven. And obviously, bulk commodities play a huge role in this one, be it manganese, iron ore, chrome, coal. So we have to make sure that the products are produced and ores are mined and processed and then taken to a port in an efficient way. And if you look at the fiscal position of South Africa, it's dependent on commodity prices and commodities to be exported out of the country. So if you look at the last three national budgets, the finance minister pointed out that the state was able to afford some of its social expenditure, such as COVID-19 grants, relief grants to the poor, is done because the mining companies paid their taxes on time. And it was due to mining companies being profitable. So it's not only important for the sector, but it's important for the country. If logistics is not dealt with, then it becomes a national problem. It's not a mining sector problem. And mainly the challenges that we have in the logistics of bulk commodities are mainly three different reasons. One is the legacy issues of the governance in Transnet, and the second one is the procurement, especially locomotive suppliers, contractual issues with the locomotive suppliers, and then thirdly is the overhead cable theft and vandalism. So if we can't solve these problems, logistics will still be our biggest challenge as mining companies and as the country at large. And if you look at listed mining companies' press releases, one of them was Thungela. The CFO, Dion Smith, made a statement in one of the press releases. They're saying their loss is about 2 billion rand between March 2021 and March 2022. Due to logistical challenges. Exxaro has got similar experience, but all the companies that are mining and moving bulk commodities are having the same challenges.
And how have the logistics challenges affected your business in particular?
Look, the delays in terms of getting locomotives or wagon availability, Transnet performance in general, obviously affected us, and it creates coal, anthracite, stockpiles, manganese, but not being able to move to the ports. So what we decided to do is we decided to start moving cargoes by road as much as we can. So Transnet is, I think, performing like, let's say, 70%. To 30%, the non-performance, we are trying to cover that up with the road logistics, but it comes obviously at a price. It's almost 2.5 times more than what we're paying to Transnet, and it has bad effects to the roads. We all know that, but we don't have any other solution. So we are trying to move some of the products by road, and we wait for Transnet to perform on the rest of the products.
And is government in general and Transnet in particular giving the industry a good hearing? I
think Transnet management have heard industry's concerns. It was discussed in the last Mining Indaba. Also, there was lately emerging Miners Indaba that was organized by Transnet regarding the logistics matters. So I think Transnet knows the issues, and they understand. They try their best. They have some limitations. Like I said, the legacy governance issues and legacy contractual matters that was done during the state capture era. So they're trying to solve the problem, but the issue is the time. Because if this is delayed further, then we lose more.
From where you sit, is there a solution in sight?
There are two main problems. One is the locomotive availability issue, and the other one is the overhead cable theft. I think in terms of the locomotives availability, Transnet CEO Portia Darby mentioned about, like, especially on the spare parts, like reverse engineering. They were trying to do reverse engineering on the spare parts, but in the meantime also they are trying to resolve the dispute with the previous contractor that they contracted to buy some of the locomotives, actually large amount of the locomotives. But I actually think that this is a problem between two countries, because the locomotive supplier is a Chinese company, and Transnet is a South African government-owned entity. I think this needs a larger intervention, especially by President Ramaphosa. I think he needs to talk to his counterpart in China to solve this issue, because China is also a big buyer of South African minerals, especially on the iron ore, manganese, from time to time on the coal side. Chrome is big for China. So I personally think that it can be resolved if President has intervened to solve the problem between Transnet and the locomotive supplier. And the other issue is overhead cable theft. It's a really very stressful thing for South African rail infrastructure, because the cables are stolen, and in some areas Transnet cannot perform. And mining industry try to collaborate with Transnet to solve the problem, but it again needs a bigger intervention. I mean, I proposed something which a businessman should not propose, actually. I thought that South African government should think about nationalizing the scrapyards, because at the end of the day all these stolen cables are sold to scrapyards, and we are losing the infrastructure. So Transnet cannot perform. Imagine we've got a train at the siding and then some cable is stolen. What can Transnet do? They can't do much. It's a criminal activity, and police needs to do something. So government needs to intervene regarding that. And I heard that Department of Trade and Industry, Minister Ibrahim Patel, is actually working on a paper to deal with this issue regarding legislating the scrapyard business. So in both problems, I think government needs to intervene, and government needs to look at the solution. Otherwise, as mining companies, we cannot do much other than collaborating with Transnet.
Do you think the mooted plan to allow third-party access to the rail will be useful?
Yeah, look, it's very important because we cannot accept everything to be done by government and Transnet regarding the logistics challenges. So I think mining industry, the players in the mining industry, the players in the logistics industry are all welcoming this initiative, and Department of Transport and Department of Public Enterprises are working on a policy paper regarding this, and it's very encouraging for the industry and all the players in the industry. We just need that to be expedited so that we can start looking at if we should invest in rail capacity or port capacity.
And are you considering investing in logistics?
Look, on the logistics side, we've got limited experience. We run our sidings. We are mainly there close to our operations. But with all these discussions regarding third-party access to rail, we are very excited. We created a team that has got rail experts, port experts. We are looking at opportunities, and we are interested in benefiting if we see there's an opportunity on the third-party access side for our company.
And would you consider investing in ports as well?
Possibly. We are a shareholder at Richards Bay Coal Terminal, and I think on the coal side, Transnet put a cap on the coal exports at 81 million tonne per annum. But if you look at what's happening in the world, like Australia went from 100 million tonnes to 300 million tonnes over a very short period of time, and Indonesia did it actually 100 to 600 million tonnes, and South Africa didn't benefit that. If there is an opportunity on the port access side, outside the existing ports, maybe in the existing ports as well, we will be interested in looking at the opportunity.
And do you think that if the logistical challenges are not resolved in time, coal producers will lose out?
Look, I think the world learned an invaluable lesson regarding what's happening between Russia and Ukraine crisis. In Europe, most of the countries are are restarting their coal-fired power capacity because they're desperate, because the gas is not flowing from Russia as much as it has to, and they don't want to trade with Russia. So coal became more important and more relevant for the power industry in Europe especially. And we think that we've been advocating this for a long time. We think that if countries invest in clean coal technologies to deal with the effects of the emissions, then coal will have a very long and bright future. And we are thinking that South Africa needs to deal with the rail and port logistics challenges so that country can benefit from this market plus the price of commodity.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly speaking to Vuslat Bayoglu, the MD of Menar.